Hey everyone, and welcome to Holding the Line with Got Your Six Counseling. I'm Peggy, and this is Brittany. This is a space where we get real about the shit nobody wants to talk about: mental health, life, trauma, healing, and everything in between. Sometimes we get clinical, sometimes we get messy, but it's always honest. Quick reminder, this podcast isn't therapy, and it's not a substitute for professional care. We're not here to provide therapy, diagnose, or treat. If you're struggling with mental health, please reach out to a licensed provider. You don't have to go through it alone. We've got your six. We're just two trauma therapists showing up as humans first, ready to have real, unfiltered conversations about the stuff that matters. We're here to break the stigma, share what we've learned from both sides of the therapy room, and talk about the challenges people face every day, especially in the veteran and first responder communities. Whether it's trauma, burnout, relationships, identity, or just getting through the week, we believe that these conversations matter. They deserve space, and that's what we're holding the line for. So let's dive in.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Holding the Line with Got Your Six, the podcast where we speak honestly about the shit nobody wants to talk about. This is episode 10, titled What Grad School Doesn't Teach You. Today we have a special guest, Miss Abbey Browne, a recently graduated student with us here at Got Your Six. She was Peggy's student. She just said she was chilling out and kicked her family out to smell pine sol, which is also my vice. She forgot about it tonight, so did I, but we're here recording this for you today. And we're going to talk about what grad school doesn't teach you on being a therapist, which is literally everything. They don't teach you anything. I'm here to tell you, if you thought going to grad school to be a therapist was going to teach you everything you need to know, I'm here to spoil that surprise and tell you that they don't teach you a whole lot. They teach you the core foundations, but that's it. We're going to get to that later. I'm going to spoil the surprise. So thank you, Abbey, for taking the time to join us. I know that you have to go do some adult things later tonight, not in a, like work things. Okay. I didn't want that to get a little carried away. People get the wrong impression. It's been a long day for all of us. Okay. I know you have to go do other things tonight, so we're not gonna carry this on. So we're going to pull back the curtain and talk about those things. So, Abbey, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you, why you chose to be a counselor, what brought you into this work, and then some of the unique challenges you had during that time. Let's get into it.
Gosh, it's like the whole email about what the blurb was for the podcast. Um,
Yeah,
so,
don't overthink it.
oh, I know. I'm going to though. That's just part of it. Um, I decided to go back to grad school, um, after what was this? 5 years in law enforcement, because one master's wasn't enough, and I wanted to eventually transition into being a therapist. But the schooling that I had wouldn't let me get licensed, so I had to figure out how to get licensed. Um, you were asking about the challenges. Um, One, like I said, being a first responder and the changes with work schedule and everything else for sure, was a challenge. I'm a first-time mother to an almost 2-year-old, so that definitely was a challenge throughout grad school. Um, and then just in general, being a grad student and the course load and everything else with that. Um, so yeah, that's
All right. So what was like grad school like versus what basically the concept of what grad school was supposed to be versus what it was actually like, especially for counseling.
yeah. So this time around it wasn't as bad. Because like I said, I already had one master's, so I kind of knew what to expect. My first master's had been in person, so it was a lot more, like academic rigorous to like be there and have the time commitment. Whereas this one was a hybrid online with like summer sessions on campus. Um, so it was really just lots of reading, lots of papers, what you would think grad school would be. Um, but I think with the counseling side of it, it's building up the knowledge base and the skills to be able to apply once you get to clinicals, which Christina, the practice owner, um, found out that my school does it somewhat backwards, because there were certain classes that I didn't get until I was already in clinicals, and she goes, "Why do you not know this?" Um, so that was definitely an interesting thing to navigate when I first got into practicum.
Oh, because you had to do, what was it? We all did like the group counseling and like your basic counseling 101, and I think those are images like scarred as memories, of like, let's practice our basic skills on each
Yeah.
other.
Oh my
And
Yes.
like,
God.
what is counseling going to look like, and you're
The little
practicing on
like
another.
10-minute blurbs with someone who knows
I
what you're
have
supposed to be
flashbacks of
doing.
the recordings we had to do in grad school, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh.
Oh, the transcripts of the recordings were the worst, for sure.
Where you get on with a classmate and you're like, all right, let's do this, right? And you try to make it as natural as possible, but it's
Right.
awful. It's
Right.
awful because it's not, it doesn't flow.
No.
It's not organic, right? Like you can't do that. It's
No.
not real.
Well, and I don't know if like other programs do this, but we did triadic recordings. So
Ugh.
Yep.
we had someone observing and then
Yes.
someone playing the
Yes.
patient,
And you
someone
just keep rotating.
yeah. And so like I think probably the worst one was when we did like the suicide assessment and stuff because you were literally sitting there being the suicidal person, being the clinician, and then being the person who's critiquing the whole thing for an hour and a half. And you're like, I need to get outside and see like sunlight.
Touch grass.
Yeah.
Because like our
Was the teacher like popping in and out of that while you're doing it? So you're like waiting for them to pop in. You're like, oh no.
No, because for the online program, we would record our like Zoom calls with each other and then just
Ah,
turn them
okay.
into the professor. We had a few like when we'd go on campus before clinical started that we did in person with like the whole class watching and then professors giving us feedback afterwards. Um, but I think because we'd already done the basic skills and advanced skills, that wasn't as intimidating. Or people were like, hey, I'm not talking to you through a computer screen, I'm talking to you in person. It's a little bit easier.
Yeah, no, we were class of COVID, so like they were learning how to do all of the Zoom stuff in the middle of
Yep.
that because like all of our like group in our 101 basic class got shut down in the middle of that instead of going in person to do all of
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first residency was online, and then my second one I actually got to go in person. So I had like both experiences, and they were both interesting to say the least, and terrible, awful, just because people are observing you regardless of whether you're online or in person.
Yeah.
Humiliating.
Okay, what's it been like kind of sifting through like what you're learning for like theory and then like application because I watched it.
Yeah.
We all
For
did.
me initially, because I already had the psychology background, it was kind of sifting through the difference between psychology theory and counseling theory and just remembering to actually like apply it rather than just go on instinct. Um, but I think one of the other things that I noticed was you're taught in school things like CBT and person-centered theory, and that's what they want you to focus on. But in trauma work, you're not necessarily like doing that all the time. And so that was, I think, one of the frustrations I had when I was getting feedback from professors because they're like, well, you need to do this. And I was like, have you sat with someone who's had like intense trauma? Because I don't feel like you have. And so I wasn't feeling like I was getting as good a feedback as I could have in some of those aspects.
One of your professors, I wanted to say, bite me all the way thoroughly because she absolutely hated IFS and was like, "Why are you doing this?"
Yeah, I think they called me pushy. Like I was pushing too much and like a confrontation or something like that. Like you're trying to get too much out of the person. But then like 10 minutes later they're like, this was really surface level and I wish you could get underneath this and get something out. I'm like, what do you think we're doing in session? Like we're not hugging teddy bears. I mean, that's an option, but
One of Megan's instructors was telling her that she was being too confrontational, and I was like, you're literally working with a population that's not like the rest. Like, you have to be confrontational or you
right,
will not survive.
right. Well, and I
Because
think
grad school's like, don't confront too much.
yeah, and
Why
I
not?
think that was one of the things that had drawn me into counseling in the first place because I had sought out counselors myself because of work related stuff. And I'm like, I don't need someone to tell me to breathe through a straw and ask me how I feel. Like, that's not going to help.
Did they have a
Or,
live, laugh, love sticker on
you
behind
know
them on the
what? I
wall?
don't know. They definitely were like, eating balanced meals and eating and sleeping for 8+ hours a day like helps lower like cortisol and stuff. I'm like, cool. Do you know what
Hadn't
shift
thought of
work
that.
is? Like,
Thanks.
I was like, yeah, we need to find someone who is actually informed on this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Shifting from that like grad school mindset into like, okay, now I'm doing this thing, right? Like, I'll never forget, I went into my interview with Christina and I was like ready to go. And she looked me dead in my face and she's like, you're a student, you don't know anything. And I was like, I've just gone through all these years of academic work. I know things. And she's like, you don't know anything. I was like, okay, I'm going to prove you wrong. And then the first day I sat in with a patient and I was like, she's right. I don't know anything. Right? Because learning about CBT and person centered work and whatever else, solution focused, right? Because they just like spoon feed you all these things through grad school, but the application of it is so different than just being able to
Oh, yeah.
like word vomit what it is, right? Like you sit
Right.
down, you're just like, I guess this is what I'm supposed to be doing, right?
Yeah.
This is okay, right? Like, okay.
Yeah.
I went to her office after her first session and I was like, I don't know anything. I don't know shit. You're right. And she's like, ah, I told you. Now that we're here, let's keep moving, right?
Right.
It's a constant trial and error, because now you're with people's lives and like with their heads. So I think it was terrifying for me. I don't know if it's the same for everybody else, but
No,
I was
she
like,
was.
grad school didn't teach me this.
You've been pretty confident like your entire time, and not in like an arrogant way. It's you were just comfortable and natural at it, unless you were dysregulated from something else, and I made you uncomfortable with it.
Well,
Oh,
those were specific instances for sure. But yeah, I think I just had a natural comfortability with it because my job is talking to people. I don't talk to them for like long extended periods of time. So maybe like on that level I was able to like BS a little bit more, whereas in the counseling setting you can't, right? You have to be able to establish the rapport and know what you're talking about. But I definitely still had some of those instances. Like I'll remember the first diagnosis I submitted to Christina. She was like, "No, like explain
Denied.
this, like defend what you're saying." And I was like, "So here's the thing. I haven't taken a diagnostic class yet, so I'm trying my best, but I honestly don't know."
Right. Just a shot in the dark here.
Right? I was like, "I think this is right. This is what it sounds like."
That was the class you hadn't had. That's right.
Yeah.
Because we were like,
Yeah.
how did she make it this far without that one?
Because I had the diagnostic background from my first master's, but that had been 4 years prior. And I'm like, I don't remember the DSM, and that was also version 4. So
Yeah.
it's completely changed.
By the time I finished grad school, I had been through the DSM-4, the DSM-4 text revision, the 5, and now we're on the 5 text revision. And I was like, so much to remember. So
Yeah.
much to remember. Like when I was doing work before, we were doing still Access 1 through 1 through 4, right?
Mhm.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad we got rid of that, by the way. Side note. That
Yeah, I
was a
think when
lot
I
to
was in
have to
my
write
first
out.
master's, they were just coming out with the 4. And so even just them teaching it in school was like, this is what you need for the test, but this isn't what we use in actuality.
Right, like now we just say people are borderline. Back then we'd be like, you're very access to.
Right.
They have access to traits, right? I feel like that's so much nicer than being like, they're so borderline. I guess now we just say they have cluster B traits.
Yes, they have cluster B because it's like
Yeah.
I think we should bring back access to. They have access to. It's okay.
Yeah, I feel like we could still say that, and it's like speaking a different language. They're very access to. It sounds very like sophisticated, you know?
It does.
And it's only like this if you know, you know. Of course, now everybody knows because we're telling them, but sorry, I just gave away our secret. Um,
Oh.
and like Peggy was talking about like the gap between like the theory you learned in school and then like the practice of it. But I think like a lot of things that we don't talk about, especially as students, is like the emotional toll.
Mhm.
Because I remember being a student, and I don't know if this is the same for you guys, but they were like, it's so important that you go to therapy while you're a student because it's such a hard like place to be in, and especially a student here, just because of the
Right.
work that we do here. Now, when I was a student, I wasn't allowed to see trauma patients for a lot. Like that was back when Christina was a little bit mean. She's a lot nicer now.
You better stop telling her that she's nicer, or she gonna keep fussing at you.
Now, look, Abby got out at just the right time because Mama's coming home, right?
Yeah.
So when she comes back, I think she's going to be a little, I don't know, but like she was like, you can't see trauma patients, blah, 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 blah. And so it was a little bit less for me then, but I think it's a little bit harder for our students now because we're trusting them a little bit more. And, you know,
I
Peggy and
don't
I are
know
like,
though. I think there was still, when I first started, there was some pushback of, no, like this isn't student appropriate. You're not sitting in on this or whatever it was. Because I did want to sit in on some of that stuff because I wanted to learn. And they're like, you're not ready. Not happening. Not yet.
Like I wouldn't let
right.
Abby sit in on like any of my actively psychotic people.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
That's more about them than about Abby, right? Although we do like to traumatize you a little bit, feed you through the fire at first.
Like there was some like I'm like, here, you can watch this. This is appropriate.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But as a student, you're so hungry, you're like, just let me see. Just let me do the thing, right? But then afterwards, you're like Christina and I had that one. I was so ready, and then I got in there in that first session, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Like
right?
you go in and you go, I'm sorry, I messed up. I shouldn't be in here.
Right? I take it back. But then you're hooked, right? Because you're like an addict. You just want to keep going back for more. But eventually, it can take an emotional toll, and not just like from the work you're doing, but also just like the exhaustion of like
Oh yeah.
you're not. And people don't understand this. You're not just, and your programs might have been the same or different. You're not just doing the internship work. You're still doing academic work. Like you're writing papers,
Mhm.
you're meeting with your school people, you're doing cohort work, you're doing a supervision with your supervisor on site, group supervision with us on site. Then you're going back and doing group supervision with your supervisors at the school and collaborating with your cohort there. So it's like nonstop stuff. Like I was like, I'm seriously been writing papers for like 5-6 years.
Yeah.
What more can I give you at this point? Like,
Right.
cut me a break here. This is so stupid.
Yeah.
Why am
Like
I
I
so
had
doing this?
my graduation this last weekend, and my mom's like, "So when are you going for your PsyD?" And I was like, "No, not right
Never.
now.
Not today, Satan.
We're not bringing up that conversation for a long time, if it
My
ever."
school still sends me emails. They're like, sign up, $10,000 scholarship. And I'm like, delete. Not today, Satan. Go away with that.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
No.
talk to Christina, and she will 10 out of 10 do not recommend.
Oh yeah.
I've watched
yeah.
her, I don't want to say struggle because she's flown through it like a champ, but like I've seen the crap that she's gone through with her doctorate degree, and I'm like, I don't think I want to do that. Like the stress alone.
Now, I'm pretty sure she's threatened both of us if I see y'all look at or even smell a psych program.
I even joked about getting another master's, and she was like, I'll kill you. And I was like, okay, maybe I won't. Like, I want to live, so I want to live.
But because you're living like kind of these dual roles still, working full time, going to school, doing all of this, how has it been to like juggle the two? Because a lot of students are doing this because like mama got to make money.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely been a challenge, especially like the last year with clinicals and everything else. My husband's a saint for putting up with my crazy schedule, for sure. Peggy might have other opinions on that. But I mean, seriously, like it wasn't possible without him being like, yep, no worries, what's your schedule? We got that. We'll get it figured out. And sometimes either handing me coffee or handing me a pillow and telling me that I needed both of them. But I mean, it was definitely something that I don't think without the previous experience that I had had in school and everything else that it would have been as easy as it had been. Because I definitely had like the learning experiences and some of the coping skills and self-care stuff already figured out. Whereas like I know I had classmates who didn't have some of that figured out, who really struggled.
I mean, I have a public service announcement to your husband. I need him to get his shit together so that you can come back to me in a proper amount of time.
Yes.
Yeah, has the betting still been going on?
We have a pool. Let's see if you make it the 2 years. Let's see.
Okay.
He'll be back. Megan said she'd come back. We'll see.
Let's see who makes it first.
Yeah. We'll wager it. We'll put an office betting pool. When I was a student and I came in, they had a whole, I'm not going to say what it was, what the wager was. We'll see if Christina's watching, if she can remember what it was for. I'll tell you guys later off screen. There was a whole like board that had like a wagering, what they were betting on. It was pretty funny. So we'll do that, the new one. We'll put that up on who's going to come back sooner, Abby or Megan, and we'll just like put money on it and see who's coming back first. Whoever has the most money and whoever comes back first wins. We'll announce it in group tomorrow. We'll take bets. Survey Monkey for the win. Google Doc. Look, we have to have fun where we can, you know? I mean,
Oh yeah, for sure. I
it is
remember
what
like
it
the
is.
interview with Christina, she had asked me my thoughts on the basket. And I was like, yes, 100% I support this.
See, that's what we should start doing in interviews. What do you think of this? And
Yeah.
if they're like, that's me, and immediately
For
buy.
those that do not know, we have this fun basket that represents everybody, whether it is law enforcement, whether it is your branch of the military.
Every branch of the military.
They are fun little stuffed animals that I think
They're so cute.
well, Winky wants to eat all of them and constantly looks at the Space Force one.
I mean,
Winky would eat anything if you gave it to him, though. The potato. That is my favorite.
But the basket is a volunteer option. Hey, I have messed up whatever it is this week. And you take it and it sits as a trophy in your office for the week.
It is a symbol of recognition of like, what did you do? What
I
did you
remember
do?
like the one group supervision that I threw myself out there for like not having notes done, and everyone's like, we all struggle with that. That's not a mess up. I was
No,
like,
girl.
it felt like a mess up as a brand new baby
If that's what
clinician.
we're giving
It
the
felt like a
basket
mess
for,
up.
Wendy would have it every week.
I would have it eternally. We're not even going to give you the number of how many notes I'm behind on, but I would just give me my own basket separate from the basket, okay? Because it's mine forever.
Don't worry, I'm making yours. It's Sporky.
Yeah, I need Sporky. I'm trash. I'm trash. Yeah.
But
Tara has the basket right now from locking herself out of the office. She knows this.
but
And then I had to come let
speaking
her in at 8 p.m.
but speaking of Forky, how did you experience your own version of like I'm trash or like imposter syndrome during it's been a year for you, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Ugh.
man, I don't know. I mean,
You
I
had your
think there's probably like,
moments.
oh, there's definitely moments. I mean, my first week for sure, there were multiple moments. I mean, my first day, I walked into the clinical director at the time, which wasn't Brittany, and I was like, I feel like I
Yes,
got off on the
differentiate.
wrong foot. Like, did I do something that I'm not aware of? And like left that conversation like feeling like a little bit better, but also I'm like, this is gonna be a tough year for sure.
I can remember
But
several moments like that for you.
oh
And I
yeah,
was like,
for
ooh.
sure. Yeah. But I mean like even towards the end, like having some of the patients I got like a little bit later on, I'm like, I don't know if I'm the right fit for this person, given the fact that I'm leaving. Or, like what can I like I know what I could do, but also at the same like what is like the right thing to do, I don't necessarily know. So there were definitely a lot of conversations with Peggy with some of that stuff. Or in like my school group supervision, like bringing up stuff and feel like, yeah, I didn't really do much with it, but like, yes, you did. Like, you don't recognize that you did whatever. So I think there's definitely those moments of doubt. And if you don't have those, I think that's probably your first clue that like you need to do some reflection.
Also understanding that you're not always going to have the answer,
Hmm.
right? Like, there's people that I've been working with for years where sometimes I'm just like, what are we doing? Right? Like, what's happening here? And then all of a sudden I'm like, haha, right?
Right.
So there are still times like student, intern, resident, whatever, that you're like, my all my patients are doing terribly and I'm an awful therapist. And
Oh, there were
Christina would be
definitely
like,
weeks where like I'd walk out and
oh,
be like, yeah, that was a great session. And then the next week I'm like, that was
I'm
awful.
Yeah,
trying.
I did
you
nothing. I
Right.
like,
you'd come into
let me go
supervision.
cry.
Yeah, you'd come into supervision like help.
Yep. I would go to Christina as a student and even as a resident, and I was like, I'm a horrible therapist and all my patients are doing terribly. And she's like, really? She's like, you don't have a single patient on your caseload that's doing well. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
they're all doing terrible. And she's just like, and I'm like, okay, there's a few. And she's like, okay, that's what I thought, right? Like
Yeah.
the imposter syndrome, just so you know, it never goes away.
I remember I had one intake that I had supervision with Peggy like right after. And I literally started the video like, I don't know what just happened.
That doesn't
Like my
stop
brain
either.
can't comprehend.
This poor person was so evasive, and she's like, I can't diagnose this.
That's okay. Try again.
Yeah, exactly.
Peggy and I will still call each other and I'll be like, let me tell you what just happened. Let me tell you what she's like, she'll call me and be like, bitch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that doesn't stop either. It doesn't stop
No.
either. People that are evasive are evasive. It is what it is. You do what you can.
Yeah.
But it was so bad. It was the best thing because she's like, I don't got it. Like, what am I supposed to do?
It's like that intense
It's like I
fear
have
of
puzzle
like,
pieces,
oh
but they're
shit.
not to the same
Yeah.
puzzle.
Like the person was really like, I'll tell you more when I trust you. And Ivy's face was like, but you can't do that here.
I need you to trust me now. Can't you trust me now?
It was the best.
Yeah.
You know what though? That is the people that we work with, because I've been
Yeah.
seeing someone for a very long time, and I've done the desk on her several times already, and she'd been giving me like these bullshit answers. And finally I did one on her like at the beginning of last year, and her score was like sky high, and I was like, wait a minute. What's happening here? Your scores were so low before. And she's like, yeah, I didn't trust you then. I was like, man, I've been seeing you for like 3.5 years. She's like, yeah, I didn't trust you before. I was like, help me understand.
Yeah.
Help me,
How I don't understand
help
this.
me help you.
Yeah.
If you're not telling me the truth for three
Right.
We
years,
can't do
Right.
this. We
how
can't.
have we gone anywhere? Yeah, so
Okay,
this is our life, y'all.
what is something you wish, like someone, us even, would have warned you about grad school or internship?
Ooh, I think we should all answer this. Abby, go first.
Oh gosh. Somebody warned me. Um, Probably internship. Um, the search for sites. Like, thank goodness my school had a list of places to look because I had called and emailed Got Your Six like 7 times and not gotten a response. And I was like, well, that's where I really would like to go, but I need something lined up. And I wasn't getting responses from people. Um, and like when I had done my internship for my first master's, like it was automatic. So I did not like anticipate having to chase down people so much. Um, so I think like that was probably the thing that like would have been like a nice warning from my school of like follow up in like a certain way because like they had given us a script to like email
Mhm.
and be like, yeah, like reach out like once or twice, you'll hear back,
A
is what they had like
script?
said. Yeah, they had like it was like a formatted like this is what like you should tell them like what our requirements
I
are or
wish we got a
whatever.
script.
Yeah. I don't know if I actually used it, to be honest.
Well, just know like the process for
But
getting your internship here has definitely changed. And if you need me, Peggy at
it has. It
gotyoursixcounseling.net,
definitely
please
has
email
changed
the
for
training
sure.
director.
I
Or
think
you
it
could
was
email the
honestly just
clinical
because of some
director
of the
and I'll forward it to
transitions with
Peggy.
Christina like getting ready to leave that like led to some of that because she apologized. She's like, I don't know why that took so long. I'm sorry.
I mean,
And honestly, it was perfectly okay because my life was crazy at the time too. So
we all apologize it took that long, but you know,
yeah,
It's better.
it worked out.
it's better now. Just so you know, if you're a student and you want to apply with us, it will not take 7 emails to get a reply because Peggy is the brains of this operation and she will probably reply within minutes. If she is
Probably.
not in a session, she is like on that. If you send it to me, I will just forward it to Peggy and she will reply still. I might reply, but I'm probably just going to forward it to Peggy because I'm a busy human. And she's the train director. That's her job. Because if you send it to the admin email, Sophia forwards it to me and then I forward it to Peggy. And it's this like fun circle thing we do. And then Peggy's going to interview.
Yeah.
That's it. So Peggy at gotyoursixcounseling.net if you're a student. And if you're a resident and you want to come work for us, then it does have to come to me. That's Brittany at gotyoursixcounseling.net. Anyways, what I wish someone had warned me about is that I was going to make mistakes. I had to go to therapy for that while I was in grad school. I wish I was kidding. Okay, like y'all are laughing at me, but it's true. I would literally sit in Christina's office like, I'm scared to make a mistake. She's like, but you will. You're a human. You're going to make mistakes. And I was like, but these are big mistakes, right? Like legal and ethical things. And she's like, yeah, but you will make them and it will be fine. And I was like, okay, not like ethical and legal shit, but like you're going to make mistakes. It's going to be fine. I had to do like literal therapy over the fact that it was okay for me to make mistakes and that it was going to be fine and that I needed to take better care of myself because I did not do that. I still don't do that. So if you're listening, you're going to make mistakes and you should take better care of yourself, especially in grad school. Because if you don't set those boundaries now, you never will. On to you, Peggy.
Not all internship sites are created equally, and it's okay if you need to leave one. And I probably should have left mine because, like, we say we feed ours through a fire hose. We do not. I take mine like glasses
It's
of
a
water
joke.
compared what I went through, because
Yeah.
like my site was like, here's 10 patients in your first week of practicum, good luck. And I'm like, oh my God. Stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like, not pick a site that's best for you, not just because like it's the only thing available. And like sometimes you have to make do with that too, just because like I need to graduate.
The only thing that was available for me was not the best choice, and she backed out on me at the last second. I ended up driving an hour and a half to Dumfries every day, which was probably not ideal in my mind, but it was the best thing. And look at me now, right? Like, it was the best thing. So sometimes you gotta step out of your comfort zone and do that thing. And also, if your site supervisor at your internship is not great and that internship site's not great, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
You have the opportunity and chance to do that. Like, you are not tied to anyone's site forever. Go, move.
Yeah,
Tell your school you're unhappy and go.
yeah, because it's okay to want to do better and learn better. Because like I wish we had the setup that we have given y'all, because we have
Yeah. Yeah.
like we have a tight system to help y'all, like clinical writing. Y'all learn clinical writing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I struggled with
I
that.
can't complain
to
about
begin
my
with.
experience. I was the only one, so I got the best, right?
But like when you first like started to write a note, because you submitted to Christina first before you got to me, the amount of red pen and red lines through it.
Honestly, it wasn't as much as I was expecting. But maybe that's just because I'm the daughter of a teacher, so like I'm used to the red pen. But yeah, like the feedback and stuff. Well, the lack of feedback initially, because she was like, "Stop trying to correct it before I give you the corrections." But yeah, I mean, it was definitely a difference and something that I had to learn, because I think Christina had to unteach me some things because I was writing things like a police report. And she's like, don't do that. That's not what this is. Whereas, like, I think some students, it's their first time writing something like that that could end up in a legal system or something like that. So they're having to even
Right.
learn verbiage that would be used, which I still had to learn some of the clinical stuff. I know there's a couple times before Peggy was my actual supervisor that I'd message her and be like, I know I'm overthinking this. I just don't know how to phrase this to make it sound clinical.
We still do that, Abby. I was like, how do we say blah, 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 blah? And then she'll kick it back to me, and I'm like, cool, thanks. Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't go away either. You're constantly trying to figure out new ways to say things,
We ask each other
especially
all the
things you
time.
don't. Right. That's why it's like good. You got to find yourself a work wife that you can talk to and figure things out to consult with, because sometimes your brain's not working correctly. Well, my brain doesn't ever work right sometimes, most of the time,
Yeah.
ever.
I think one of the feedbacks that I got from Peggy on a note was like, did your brain go on vacation? It was like, yep, 100%. Don't know why that was written that way.
I used to love Megan used to come in my office with her printer because I would print it out and just like go crazy with it. And she would come in like crying, laughing. She's like, your comments on here. I literally cannot. She's like, I can't even be sad or mad or upset about you just ripping this apart because of the outlandish comments you have on this
Oh,
intake.
yeah.
I'm like, well, it's trying to make you laugh. Like, sorry, you got to rewrite the whole thing. But
I mean, I was crossing things out in the beginning. I was like, what is this? What is this?
Christina would like circle it and be like, what does this even mean? And then highlight that and be like, why do I even care?
I think she had one that like she literally just like circled and put no.
Yeah.
Like no actual like feedback on how to change it. Just be like, this is not
It's
it.
like, so do I take it out or like, do I rephrase it? Like, what does
Right.
no mean? So like, this is what you get to look forward to as a student here, right? Like, we have fun while we kind of berate you a little bit about your writing.
But this
It's
is
a
one
learning
of the
experience.
things that like grad school misses. They don't teach you how to write like a therapist.
Yeah.
They don't
like
teach you clinical language. No.
mm-mm.
They're
That
like,
was one of
this
those
is a
classes
dap
that I
note and
got
this is a
after I
soap note.
started clinicals.
Yeah. They teach you
Like
the
I had,
difference between notes, but they don't teach you how to write one.
right. I had my case formulation and treatment planning class in like my second semester of internship. And everybody else in the class is like sitting there like, I don't know. Like this is I think what the textbook is telling me. I was like, oh, I've got this down by this point. Like I'm good to go.
Hold on, let me use the treatment plan filler.
But that's actually like the formatting that we use for treatment plans. Like I used, and my professor was like, "This is a really good like formatting. Where did you get this?" And I was like, "My clinical site." Like, thanks.
That book is stupid.
Those Young's
I got it
treatment
from the
planners are on point,
binder.
though. Yay! The binder came in handy.
Once I
Abby,
finally
where's
knew
her
what to look
binder?
for.
Look, my student binder did not have the treatment plan part in it for like the first 6 months of my internship. And Christina would kick my treatment plans back every time. And I was like, I don't know why you're kicking these back. She's like, look in your binder. And I was like, there's nothing in here. And she's like, yes, it is. And I was like, and I would go back and look, and I'm like, I swear it's not in here. I even had other clinicians at the site look, and they're like, yeah, it's not in here. And I was like, all right. So I like got the courage, went in her office, and I was like, Christina, the treatment plan stuff is not in here. And she's like, if it's in there, I'm going to fire you. And I was like, here it is. And she's like, yeah, you're right. It's not in here. And I was like, I've been telling you this for a month. And she's like, I'm sorry. You came at a weird time. Here, I'll print it out. And I was like, oh my God.
There was one section during the orientation where they gave us the binder that Christina had said, "Oh, this isn't up to date. We'll get you the up to date part." So I made a note of like not up to date, ask questions kind of a thing, right? Well, I never got the updated part and I forgot about it. And it ended up being like the treatment plan review. So like the first time I had to do a treatment plan review, I'm like looking at the binder and I was like, I don't have the answers.
What exactly do I do here?
Right.
Oh no.
At least you only learned one way. We used to do treatment plans a very, very different way than we do them now. So I like every way we've done them differently in the last like 4 or 5-ish years. I've had to do them every different way. And she's like, we're changing them again. I was like, no, God, please. Like, can we just keep it this way? Stop. Every time she makes a change, I'm like, don't do it. Now I have the power to be like, can we please not do that? You're killing me. I feel like the fed through the fire hose thing is just kind of like a metaphor for like, we want you to think for yourself, though.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking that.
Well, because
we joke about it, but we want you to think for yourself.
Well, because she's having to learn how to deal with difficult patients, especially like in what we're doing, and like you are learning those skills and those things on the fly. What it actually takes to sit with like challenging people that don't want to be there, but like show up anyway sometimes.
Right.
And you know,
do you think you?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Peggy.
No, just what that looks like and like how to actually deal with that all the time. And then still go home, be a mom, be be law enforcement and everything. And like that's a massive juggle. And like they don't teach you this in grad school.
Right.
Can I ask you about your special job you do at your job?
My special job that I do?
Yeah, you know what special job I'm talking about. The special job that we both can do, sort of.
Oh, yeah. You can ask about it.
Do you think that you draw off of that, those strengths, like as like peer support, like you drew off of that in your experiences with that before you came into being like a student and like being a counselor and all? Because like it's not counseling, right? Like it's not psychotherapy because they drill that into your heart. It's not the same thing, but like you're still sitting with people and like holding the space and like doing this whole thing. But you were kind of used to that, probably doing that already.
Yeah, for sure.
So it
even
probably kind of felt the
before
same.
we had a peer support team, because everything that like had happened that led me into wanting to be a counselor and everything else is what led to us having a peer support team. And so there were definitely moments that I did have to like do some of that stuff, and I had that trial by fire where I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but at least it's better than nothing. So yeah, I think that definitely does. And then just in general, some of the challenges of situations you have as a law enforcement officer does help because you're talking to the difficult people and having to figure out how to communicate.
Because a lot of them, especially in some of those situations, don't really want to be there. They don't
Yeah,
really want to talk about it, right? So you're already used to the resistance
right,
and the avoidance, and like we don't want to be here, right? Especially if it's like in a, like it's following, an event and they're mandated to be there. Like, yeah, we don't want to be here. We don't want to talk about this. So you're already used to that. You're like, oh, I see what's happening here. I
right.
got this, right?
Yeah,
You're already set up to succeed,
yeah. I think I was more caught off guard by the people who were nice in the counseling field. They're like, thank you so much for your help. And I was like, thank you? Like, I'm not used to that.
Don't be rude.
He's being
You're the best
spicy
therapist I've
nice.
ever had.
Right,
Right.
right,
The people that are like, oh my God, you're the best therapist I've ever had. Thank you. And I'm like, what are you trying to get at?
right,
What do you want from me?
right.
Not
I'm like,
everybody has an
thanks.
ulterior motive, okay?
Right. And I'm so glad you've had a good experience with in this experience, right? You see me once a week. You're living with yourself the rest of the time, right? Like
Right,
it's not me, it's you. Okay. Like I just
right.
try to like kick it back to them because it's true. But also I'm like, why are you being so nice? You've been mean
Yeah,
to me this whole time. Why are you being nice
right.
now?
And they like come in and they're like, just so you know, like like always feel worse after I leave. I'm like, sorry?
Wow.
But you come back.
Oh, you still come back? Like,
Right.
Like, it's the epitome of when I have patients be like, fuck you, see you next week. I'm like,
right,
okay.
Yeah.
right.
I get
They're
it.
like, why do I even come here? And I'm like, why do you?
Like I
And then
had
the next
one,
week, they're back.
yeah, like I had one patient that they like came back the next week and they're like, you pissed me off so much because you wouldn't tell me the answer. It's like, because you're the one that knows the answer. I don't know it. Like, I'm just sitting here.
You do get to a point as a therapist where you do know the answer, but you need them to figure out the answer,
Right,
right? You're like, I can't give you that, bro. I need you to come to that conclusion on your own.
right,
I know, but I want to have
If
like
I,
a little treasure box and be like, the answer's in here. Now guess it.
right. I need you to figure out this code on your own. Like, it's not therapy if I just give it to you.
right,
And that's where you hold the power later, right?
right.
It's an
Yeah.
aha moment when you get there as a therapist. You're like Smeagol. You're like, this is mine. This is my
But I
answer.
feel like as a student, like that's something that like it's so hard to learn that balance
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because you have done the stuff with your classmate who knows the same things that you do. And so like the 10 minutes gets wrapped up nice and pretty with a bow, and then you get in with an actual patient and they don't do that. You're just like, ugh.
It's not realistic and it's not
Yeah,
organic because
right,
you and your person can see where the other person's going in that recording and you can kind of guide them there.
right,
Or, so you're like, oh, this is great. That looked wonderful. But in
right.
real life, it's not the same.
Right. They're like, oh yeah, journaling would be a really good thing. And then you get to an actual like
Lies.
clinician and they're
Who
like,
journals?
yeah, like I just didn't feel like doing that. Like it just doesn't work for me.
Journaling sucks. I don't have time for that. Or I try, hey, that homework you told me to do, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay.
Surprise, surprise.
Thanks for letting me know.
Right.
Also, those medicines I'm supposed to be taking, fuck those medicines.
Right.
Please go back on your meds and stop quitting them cold turkey.
And then I'm like, Clinician and patient discuss the potential deleterious effects of non-compliance with medications.
Right.
Take your medicines.
Yeah. Or like you'll have that thing that like, like the textbook says this is the next step and you do it in a session and they're just like, nope, that's not
That didn't
comfortable. We
work.
don't do that. Like, and you're just like, I don't know another step. Like that was what the textbook said to do.
Well, sometimes we got to toss the textbook out the
Right.
window.
But again, that's like
You know what
one of
my
those things that as a
my
student,
favorite
like
thing
you
in
don't
grad
know
school?
better.
Yeah.
They're like, you should never ever diagnose in the first session.
Yeah.
Well, insurance
Um,
requires that we do. So,
Well, yeah.
Insurance companies are like, wrong. We need that now. And our billers are like, we need that yesterday.
Right. Well, and I think like when it comes to clinical sites and stuff, that was one thing that Gotcha Six did a really good job with of teaching how to write like the Medicaid standard notes and what you need for insurance. Because I know that I had a ton of classmates who didn't get those kinds of experiences, who now are like, that's something I probably should ask questions about because my site didn't teach that.
or the
Yep.
difference in supervision, because
Yes.
like we will talk about this for a minute, just because like a supervisor can make or break you. And like
Yes.
you had to at our site because you went from me to Christina because Christina needed to go and do her doctorate in a different state.
So rude.
But a supervisor, to me, makes the experience, because like patients are going to be a revolving door, but your supervisor is going to be that one that is supposed to be a constant.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And again, because like grad school, again, those supervisors are going to be in and out every semester. And
Right.
so the one that's on site for you, you know, if they're not good, what happens? Like
Right.
get a different supervisor,
Yeah.
like you have the option
Or
most
like if
times.
you get like advice from a supervisor that you're like, that doesn't sit right with me, like ask another clinician.
Yeah.
Like there were definitely like some people that like I would look at their intake paperwork and be like, I need supervision on how to handle this. And I asked like every single person that I had any kind of a supervisory role and like relationship with, hey, like what are your thoughts on this? Like I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Or like being able to ask your supervisor questions and like even challenging things with your supervisor, because like some supervisors are not cool with pushback and others are like welcoming to it,
Mhm.
because we need y'all to explore that autonomy of being a grown up.
Yeah. And also I think like one of the things with this as a student, like you're still trying to figure out like what theories and modalities and stuff work for you. And if you're only like going with the advice of one supervisor, you're going based on their knowledge base and what specialties they have. And I know there were multiple times that Peggy's like, go ask Christina, go ask Brittany, go ask, whoever it was based on the questions that I had.
Yeah, because I didn't want you to pigeonhole yourself into like, if it wasn't something I didn't know or I wasn't comfortable with, hey, go ask these other clinicians for consultation, because that's part of this as well. Like, I'm not going to know all the answers and I shouldn't know all the answers.
Yeah.
You
But your
can't know them
but
all.
your clients come in and they're like, but you do know the answer. You're the professional. You should know it. You're like,
I know.
let me
Go
make a
ahead,
note
keep your
to like
secret.
ask this question later.
Now I just get to bully you for the next I don't know how long because you decided that you needed a pension.
Yep.
To get a pension, she's gonna have to work there forever.
Forever.
She won't be back in 2 years if she's trying to get a pension.
Apparently, she only has to put in the 10 years to get it.
To get part of it. Yeah.
10 more or 10
No,
total?
just 10
what she's
total.
No,
already
10
got?
total. Like I get
How
vested
many
at
more
10,
do
so I'll
you
get
need
like
to get 10
partial.
total?
2.
She'll be back in 2.
We'll see.
That's all we have time for today, everyone. We want to thank you for tuning in to this episode of Holding the Line with Got Your Six, where we are just a bunch of therapists who talk about the shit nobody else wants to talk about. We hope you got something useful out of it, or at least made you feel seen. A special thanks to our guests for taking the time to join us and share their unique perspectives and life experiences. New episodes drop every other week on our YouTube channel, Holding the Line GY6. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, where we post more helpful info, dark humor, and more of the shit nobody else wants to talk about. In the words of someone wiser than us, go forth and do magical shit, everyone.
We'll see.
2 more years, she's going to be tapped. She's going to be like, I have all this education. Why am I just here?
We are plotting and other things because we're like, what does maternity leave look like?
That's a woman's power, you know? It's like, oops. Surprise.
Because she was already family planning anyways for the second baby.
I need to be clear, I'm not in any way endorsing people to surprise pregnant their husbands. I'm just saying, Landon was a surprise, and I was like, oops, that was user error on the birth control there. I mean, it happens. I'm just saying. Brittany from Got Your Six Counseling is not in any way endorsing that shady behavior. I'm just saying. It happens, okay? It happened to me. It happened to all of us, okay?
I think she is actual family planning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I family planned the last 2. And then when they get on my nerves, I'm like, I had you on purpose. Like, I did this on purpose. You are not an accident. I love my kids.
Yeah, but that planned baby just hits different because you're like,
Right. Like, I can't even be mad. Right? Like, I did this on purpose. You weren't even an oops. You know? It wasn't even like a birth control mess up. Like, I did this. I planned this. I tracked ovulation and everything. You know?
Oh, so how has been your biggest takeaway from internship out of all of this?
I think my biggest takeaway was that I enjoyed it more than I anticipated, and that, like, it felt like more of a calling. Because initially I was like, yeah, this is something I could see myself doing when I want to retire. And now I'm like, maybe I leave in 2 years. Maybe I like that better. Like, so I think that was the biggest thing. And I don't know, had I had like different supervision, had I had a different clinical site, if some of that would be the same. Because it definitely has been like a change throughout the 3 years of being in school as to like why I went into school and where I like have ended up. Like, I definitely did not think I would have had such a diverse client population, because when I first started I was like, I don't want to work with kids. I don't want to work with the average person. Like, I wanted other first responders and to learn EMDR and that kind of stuff, and I still do, but I think I've found more value in just the overall profession.
She'll be back.
We're going to stalk her for the next, I don't know how many years.
Yep. Remind
Like,
me
this
about starting the votes. I'm gonna put a whiteboard behind me during group and be like, all right, who's casting the votes? And we're
Because
gonna count them up every week.
Now it's just going to be threatening text messages on the regular. And I
need the phone number so I can do it too.
Yeah, because I don't know if it's going to be directed at you or your husband sometimes. Like, it's going to go either way.
That's okay. My mom posted photos from graduation in our like family group chat, and my entire family pretty much threw my husband under the bus. He's like, so when are you getting your next degree? And I was like,
Ouch.
I'm not touching that. I didn't orchestrate it.
So it's like competing, husbands and wives, huh?
Apparently.
Ouch.
I love it.
It's
I
like
love
Hunger Games.
Hey, look, this could have all been solved. So he better
It's an
have
easy solution.
Yeah, he better have his nursing degree done.
But that's only like 2 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he better get on it. Chop, chop. Abby's husband. Let's go.
Nothing like
Don't
a little
mess it
peer
up.
pressure.
Yeah. You know where you live, sort of.
Mhm.
In a non-threatening, non-violent sort of way.
No, very much so.
I mean, she's a cop, Peggy. I'm not trying to go to jail.
I know, but she's not
Oh,
allowed to
look good
beat
in
him,
orange.
so like.
That's true. I have to sign like a certification every year.
Are you serious?
Yeah. It's called a Laudenberg certification.
I have to Google that. Hold on.
He brings it up every year. He's like, you signed it. You can't do anything.
She's not allowed to have domestic violence. However, my assault and battery can be hidden.
I feel like I need to look that up, and I don't want to joke about that because, like, law enforcement officers who have domestic violence, like, that's a real thing. I don't want to, like, make joke of that, but also I need a copy of one of those so I can
Like, let's read
give it
this.
to my husband and, like, joke about it. Yeah, I need to read that because my husband always jokes that I beat him, but I do not, in fact, beat him. I do not. He just lives in fear of me, which is a healthy fear. It's a healthy fear. All men should have, like, a little bit of healthy fear of their lives.
I think it's respectable.
It's fine. Yeah. It's like, I might not do anything to you, but I just need you to live in fear of what I could do. And what I can do, the full extent of it, is unknown to you for now. You know what I mean?
And on that note, I want everybody to like, share, and follow us for more.
Or you don't know what I could do if you don't. Because it's not hard to just hit the like, share, and follow button. Because I saw one of our last episodes that almost had 0 views, and I was like, this is shameful. Why are you guys not hitting the like button at the bottom? I don't understand it. Let me get on my soapbox about it. Go, like, share, and follow. Thank you for watching, for listening, or whatever you're doing.
Thank you,
Thank
Abby.
you, Abby, for joining us. Bye.